This is a Clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center on this Friday night, tracking some more severe weather, or at least potentially severe weather. News for Thunderstorm warning being in the last few moments reports. It looks like they're of Columbia as well as Baker, Union, and Charlton counties until 9:30. And we just got an update on it. We'll see it trim back just a little bit here momentarily. Let me go to the broad view real quick. We'll kind of go over toward the broad perspective a little bit. You'll kind of see what's going on. You'll see probably the polygon trimming on back. You see the thunderstorm watching the pink, but there's your polygon trimming back some, but still some potent weather down toward parts of Columbia County, closer to Lulu there, up toward Lusty and Sanderson, and that's moving toward McClinney and Lake Butler over the next little bit, and some of that's going to be going toward Stark. And now Weather Service is talking about here in the chat, and I've heard the thunder some now where I'm at, eastern Bradford County, but there is excessive lightning going on with this activity. There's just an issue with this version of the lightning tracker right now, but there is excessive lightning going on, so just want to make sure you guys kind of realize that right now as we continue to track things here on this Friday night. In fact, let me see if our radar scope's showing the lightning right now. We'll try to pull that up here for you guys at home so you kind of get an idea of how dangerous this lightning could be. And as I do that, I know we're getting some reports of some structural issues there out toward Taylor County. Taylor County Emergency Management reporting structural and tree damage impairing their 221 and the 27 intersection. Could have been a tornado, could have just been from winds in general. There was a tornado warning in play there at that time, 7:03 this evening, I do believe. So we were on live covering a tornado warning in that area there out toward the Big Bend of Florida earlier on, but again, watching things, could get a quick spin up in here. They're not mentioning the tornado possible tag right now, but still, you got to remain on guard. If you've been around North Central Northeast Florida enough over the years, you'll know occasionally a tornado can touch down. You won't have a formal tornado warning just because the radar can't really see that circulation getting down toward the surface. So that's a little bit of weak rotation there west of Lake Butler. So Lake Butler to Stark need to be on guard here. I'm telling you, just a heads up. And granted, things seemingly want to keep being pushed back a little bit more here and a little bit more with the timeline. The movement's been slowed down some here, down to 25 miles an hour. So that's going to get some of this activity towards Stark here closer now. It looks like probably to about 9:45 or so, something like that. But you can hear the thunder in Stark now, and I said 9 o'clock earlier on. So if you hear that thunder, that means technically you're close enough to be struck, because theoretically you could have some lightning try to develop well ahead of the main storm complex. Now, down toward Gainesville, the threat not as big right now. Things are looking better in there. Granted, we still have to get some of this to kind of come on through here, possibly, and maybe more of an easterly movement, but things aren't looking as potent there. Still stay on guard though until the threat is completely wound down there, because things can change rapidly. We've seen them change rapidly. This is a unique environment for our area, so we got to stay on guard. You see Lake Butler though towards Stark. Again, gonna be getting some of this. This is actually a hail indicator as well, toward a ½ inch in diameter on the hail tracker, so got to keep that in mind here as well. You see up to the north around Sanderson, there might be a little bit of weak rotation up there as well, but maybe not quite as well defined as what we're seeing down toward south of Lake City. At least we do have both the radars to go between Moody and Jacksonville. I know sometimes we don't, but you can see a little bit of something west of Lake Butler. So if you hear a weird noise in Lake Butler here, in terms of maybe some type of freight train type noise, not seeing there's anything imminent, but if there was a weak tornado in here, it'd be rain wrapped for sure, and that could be problematic. So what I want to do now, I'm going to try to pull up some camera technology we have here. But there's your lightning, by the way, and hopefully we can give you guys a visual on that here in a moment. I'm going to check a couple things real quick while we're talking to you guys. Let me go ahead and try to get this loaded on here on this Friday evening. Again, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. We're here at the top of the hour following a very active day of severe weather. We've seen damage reports toward Berrien County, Georgia, a debris signature in McCulloch County, and then also we had issues there toward Taylor County. Now some damage there as well. Just trying to run everything down for you. Now I'm looking at the camera outside right now. I hear the thunder, but I'm not really seeing the lightning too much. As I've had it on just for a few seconds, I did just see a couple flashes though as I say that. So let's go ahead and pull it up. It's going to be harder to make out at this point, but things could obviously change here rapidly on us. Things could change rapidly on us here And it looks like it is a significant weather advisory for parts of Bradford, so they might end up dropping a warning again. We'll just wait and see. I've never seen, it seems like storms fluctuate this much this quickly in intensity, up and down, up and down. It's been like this all day. If you've been following along with me here, generally you'll have a more steady state, but things will ramp up real quick, then ramp back down. But they're not going away here in this type of environment completely. So again, let me go ahead and pull up now our camera here. Let me do that. We have that on the system now. So let me go ahead and pop this on. There's lightning. That was perfect timing, actually. That's probably the best one we had since I've had it up. But this is a look here, Stark Area Camera Network. You can see some of that lightning here toward Bradford County's viewpoint. Granted, this is what we're watching here. Let me clarify this a little bit. We're watching what is going on more toward our west right now. So I'm east of Stark, and we're looking back toward Stark, but Roy, the lightning obviously is further back than that, as you saw within the radar algorithms there a moment ago. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're trying to give you guys a visual on the lightning here. This is live, again, live technology showing you that Stark Area Camera Network. You see a little bit of accent there on the lens, but nothing too noteworthy, but the lightning is noteworthy at times. Not as crazy so far as it was back on Tuesday night, but again, continuing this live look here at things off toward the west here, looking back towards Stark, but again, this is looking past Stark at the lightning. I'm east of Stark, we're looking back towards Stark, but again, the lightning is further west than this. It's not quite as copious as it was in terms of all the strikes we were seeing back on your Tuesday night, but again, that could change as the storm axis gets closer or strengthens, something to that effect. So we got to keep that in mind here as we continue to look at the camera, continue to give you guys those interesting visuals for sure. Just trying to give you guys a look outside right now here at some of that lightning again. You can see it maybe if you're trying to go to bed early tonight, granted stay weather aware, you're probably seeing some of that lightning coming to windows here as you're doing so right now. So again, that's the viewpoint right now. We'll keep our eye on this obviously here as things get closer, depending on if we need to still be on at that point or not based on the warning situation. But just keeping our eyes on everything. Let's go ahead and move away from this right now. Pop me back on camera. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our camera for now. Let me go ahead and get out of that just so we don't end up losing some frames here. Sometimes have too much stuff open here on our system and it might cause some issues. But again, looking here toward the west, we still have this warning, but they went with an advisory out ahead of this. So again, just incredible fluctuations in strength here. One minute you'll have a situation where you need a certain type of warning, the next minute things fall back on down. So just stay weather aware. We've seen it before towards dark. Things kind of pop up on us quickly. So hopefully I said in the night where that happens again. But we just want to be on guard here as we get toward Union County. We're watching a little bit of wind enhancement, at least just outside of the warning in some ways. Sometimes you could say that's in toward the warning area up toward Lulu as well. So looking up and down this line here, the significant weather advisory, by the way, is for 50-mile-an-hour winds. They're tracking it east at 40 on the overall line, and movement's been fluctuating as well. We're talking about wind gusts to 50 pea-sized hail here through about 9:45. So again, interesting to see all the different fluctuations here. Again, not something you generally have to deal with, but this is an unusual situation here. I mean, we have 3 Virginia tornado warnings right now, even, by the way, if you're wondering. I know, just kind of interesting to see that. This is an interesting pattern we're in for sure. But let's go ahead, see where else we want to take you. Just checking some information. Right now. I just want to make sure we're getting the best views on everything. Going up and down the line. Again, we have that lightning we were showing on the camera a moment ago as we're looking off toward the west. Again, let's see where we want to go with this. Let's go to radar scope again. Let me go over here. We'll kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on this aspect of things. You can see here we do have this stronger to severe weather coming into Lake Butler right now. Sanderson, you kind of get the idea here as we continue to watch things. Again, just trying to give you guys the latest. There's a little bit of wind enhancement off the Moody's side at least. Showing up here west of Lake Butler. So that's something to watch. A little bit of weak rotation moving toward Lake Butler now. over the next few minutes. You kind of see the path. It's doing a pretty good job with this. Going up maybe toward Rayford over the next little bit. So that's a weak rotation there. Not enough for a tornado warning at this point, but we have to just watch to see if the greens get brighter in there or not. Anything in there would be rain wrapped, of course, and probably weak in nature, but we just got to keep our eyes on this here as the storminess moves in. Let me zoom out to give you guys a little bit better perspective, though. Again, trying to give you guys the latest updates here. Give you guys the latest information. So if it's a thunderstorm warning to 9:30, they'll probably have to make changes, whether that's an extension east or what. We'll just have to wait and see because that's starting to kind of move out there toward the eastern fringes. They might just continue it with a smaller spatial area, but we'll go ahead and zoom back out once again. Eventually, Duval County, you need to watch this as well. Granted, we were watching that one area earlier of circulation. Let me get back to the Jacksonville radar here. Sometimes different radars give you different viewpoints on things. Again, you're seeing a little bit of wind enhancements here and there off of that. Again, it's hard to say whether things are too serious at the surface or not, but I'm going to go ahead now, pop myself back on the camera once again. Let me go ahead and show you our radar viewpoint here. We're going to go to the power outage maps in a few seconds. Get a latest look at those right now. 3,092 customers stay in the dark. And have a pretty good cluster, at least. Not a huge cluster, but a pretty good cluster there toward parts of Taylor County. So let me look over there toward Taylor County where we might have had something earlier on. 279 customers in the dark. And in Columbia County, 258 customers in the dark right now. You see Union, Bradford, none as the last check, or a lot to it. Keep your eyes on the maps here, obviously. Those are pretty low numbers. Granted, not everybody's tracked like that. They might not be as low as that shows. But you see Georgia, 18,000 in the dark. Tennessee, 27,000. North Carolina, close to 30,000. I mean, even Virginia and South Carolina are up there as well. So I have to continue to watch the situation carefully, obviously. Just continuing to monitor the situation here in the Weather Center. Georgia, and let's pop those areas up. And we had it earlier, and probably still there it is. In play. You see some of these areas here in the central Georgia, quite a few outages up there. Interesting to see, but in our covered area, Thomas, still a few customers, Colquitt, Berry, and a few customers in the dark. So we'll keep our eyes on that information, obviously. Back to the camera we go. We just got an update. They've cleared Columbia from the warning now, but they're continuing it for parts of Baker, Union, and Charlton, just barely in the Charlton County, Georgia there, until about 9:30. So we'll keep our eyes on that. I know the thunderstorm watch goes until 10. Again, we're continuing to track everything as it moves on in. It looks like Gainesville right now. It's looking like more just about light rain there versus up toward the north where we have storms. They're storms, maybe not tornadic or severe. Maybe they will be, but they're going to move in towards Stark here in this hour in Bradford County. These storms are moving on in. With at least a frequent lightning potential. Probably get pretty loud here on the stream here in the Weather Center if we end up staying on here for the severe potential. Might end up sticking with it a little longer. Just we'll have to play it by ear to see how things end up going here with the radar trends. But let's go to our wind potential there. There's your 5% wind. They have dropped to a marginal now. And there is now a tornado potential they've added here. Based on some of the warnings we were getting, it makes sense. This threat is now going towards Central Florida. So just be careful here with what we're seeing in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico there. We'll continue to watch everything very carefully. Let me pop with the watch. I hear that thunder picking up a little bit louder now. A little bit louder. So let's see. Let's see how the camera's looking. I'll go ahead and go back to our camera again, our camera network. Let me go ahead and see what that is displaying for us here. It might take a few seconds for me to kind of pop that on the screen, but we'll be looking towards dark, but we're east of dark, and we're looking back past dark toward the west of these storms, and you'll definitely get a good look at some of this lightning here from this vantage point. So let's go ahead now. We'll go ahead and punch the camera network up. We're not seeing it at the moment, but it could change rapidly with lightning strikes. You see a little bit of a flash there on the screen. Again, watching the situation here, watching the video. Here, maybe a little bit louder noises. There's some lightning popping up there on the screen, kind of giving you guys that visual now. Maybe some bugs passing by as well on this Friday night. Again, taking a live look outside right now There's your flashes kind of telling the weather story here with some of that dangerous lightning on the way to Bradford County here on this Friday night. Again, you might have those plans. I mean, you're seeing the lightning if you're outside, more than likely. Hearing that thunder, and that means it's time to go ahead and get inside and away from windows. Granted, we may not have warnings. We may have warnings. We don't know, but we know lightning and heavy rainfall are on the way here in Bradford County. That's a certainty at this point toward Bradford County here. Parts of the area having some issues from there. I know temperature till 77 degrees. Barometric pressure rate 1,009 millibars. So just giving you guys some perspective there. That's a real interesting flash there. So you see some of these different flashes that we're getting on the screen as we continue to watch this. Continue to monitor this camera here. Again, looking west from the Stark area at the storm, and it's approaching here. So we'll keep our eyes on this, but let's go ahead and I'll come back on camera now as we watch these storms move on into the picture. We watch these storms move on into the picture on this Friday night. There's some more lightning, by the way, for you. If you're not by a window, giving you guys a little window to the world here on the coverage. And they are continuing to watch here, by the way. 4 areas of Florida where they canceled Charleston out. This is now kind of nomenclature things there. But oh, here's some thunder, so let's see if there's any thing here. Maybe some delays on this from maybe I wasn't looking at this screen a second ago, so I might have saw something just a second ago. But again, continuing to watch here, continuing to monitor here on this Friday night. So let me move away from the camera for now as we continue the coverage. We're going to continue to watch this Doppler radar perspective, obviously. By the way, 3 tornado warnings in Virginia still, I know. Maybe not too much interest up there, but this is interesting to see. I mean, in May, getting this pattern, sometimes they get some weather up there, but I mean, we've seen the pattern extend all the way down here. Not necessarily a pattern like this happening too often, but you see tornado warning southwest there by a good ways of Richmond there, a tornado warning for Halifax County, and then a couple others due west of Richmond, or really even closer to the University of Virginia and Charlottesville. Hopefully they're not having graduation or anything like that there tonight. But as we look back down to the south, again, we're watching this action. Again, right now things look better for Gainesville and Alachua County. That's why we provide minute-by-minute updates still, because things can change rapidly in these type of situations. So again, you see this line here coming on in. There's Lake Butler. Again, copious amounts of lightning up towards Sanderson. It's moving into McClenny now. It's moving into Rayford soon. It's already been moving into Lake Butler over the last several moments. You see some of these areas in the path here of this evening storminess here that is a little bit more significant than we normally get here as we talk about this time of year. So back to the radar scope computer we go now. Let's get back on over here. You kind of see a little timeline it's trying to give us now. Let me click on this. So it's showing here at least maybe closer to 9:30 here with this. Again, the movements have been really rapid here in terms of their fluctuations. Really, you see Lake Butler getting hammered right now, though, in Union County. That's heavy rain and copious amounts of lightning in there. Some wind, its velocity was so in there with the greens. But again, watching this move right down State Road 100 right now. If you're on State Road 100, it's probably not a good drive on a 2-lane road like that at night. With the rain, with the lightning, with the winds. It's just not a great drive right now toward Union County. I've been out there at night before, not in a storm like that, but some of you might have, and maybe some of you are just getting back from the storm and watching the coverage now. Hopefully, you're doing okay after a drive like that through a storm at night there as we're looking out toward the west. But as I said, toward the bypass here over the next several moments. No formal warning for Bradford County yet. The thunderstorm warning still continues for parts of Baker, Union, and Charlton, though, until 9, still Charlton. They canceled them out of the watch, which is strange to me, but they're still under the warning. But it's just the way the nomenclature works sometimes. But anyway, towards Lake Butler here north of Worthington Springs, you see some of the worst of this as well. Let's just see if we get another yellow box. There's a brownish box here, but no yellow box at this point. So again, we have to watch these storms as they move on in. On this Friday night, you have all those plans, and unfortunately, you have to set them aside because of some of these storms coming on in. I mean, maybe some indoor plans will work out, though. But we just have to kind of keep our eyes on this Friday night as we watch things. The weekend looks better, though, as we've been talking about. Saturday's looking good at this point, really, and Sunday is too. Could end up seeing something, believe it or not, from all this into tropics here next week. It might come back at us. We'll see, but we keep pinning at that, and we'll keep you an eye on that. Hopefully, we don't have to talk too much more about that. Maybe not. But if so, of course, we'll do so. But Lake Butler, all that lighting, that could be obviously causing some issues to electronics right now around Lake Butler. And that lighting, the bulk of that lighting is headed right for Stark here, honestly, over the next several minutes. So if you have some electrical devices here that you don't want getting struck by lightning, it may not be a bad idea to unplug them here at this point. Granted, try to stay connected with maybe on your mobile device, watch on the YouTube app. Maybe you can continue to watch me there or on one of your other apps. But in general, I would say it's dangerous lightning. Your stuff can be damaged. Granted, we got to keep our stuff on here. We have some backup systems. We got to keep our stuff on here to keep you guys up to date on what's going on here. Because that's what we do here at Cloud Weather. But again, we have this lightning coming on in toward the picture, and we have some enhancement of wind shear, a little bit of opposing directions going on here. So we have to watch for that as it moves on into the picture. So again, some nasty weather moving towards Stark here. That's clear. You can see it here. This is also showing some hail up to maybe a ½ inch in diameter. We'll see if we're actually getting hail with this, but we're going to continue to watch, continue to track. It's 9:18 right now, since we're still kind of here. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. I'll probably just stick with it through Stark at this point, because we're going to have at least a significant weather advisory in play. I've been on all day, and this could easily pulse up real quick on us, and we don't want anybody caught off guard. The watch goes to 10. So we're going to go and take a 5-minute break here. I'm going to gather more information and be back here to kind of get you through it here. In toward Bradford County with these storms, whether they're strong, severe, or tornadic. We'll be here to keep you guys safe here on this Friday night. Let me go ahead and come back on, and we'll kind of zoom on out a little bit. You see that thunderstorm watch in play and the thunderstorm warning in play as well. Just get into these storms here on this Friday night. Stay safe out there. I'll be back in about 5 minutes with more information as we keep you guys advised. Stay tuned, everybody.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here in the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, continuing to follow some strong storms. That severe thunderstorm warning has just been expired for parts there of Baker, Union, and Charlton, but it's still really strong action with a lot of lightning in it. Some damaging winds still possible if these storms pulse back up again, but some stronger wind gusts here for sure. Maybe some small hail and just heavy downpours. So we're going to stick with it at least until this gets past dark here. At least about 10 o'clock or so then, just because of the nature of things. Excuse me, these storms keep pulsing up, pulsing back down on us, and we don't want them to pulse up right over Stark and become dangerous and then we not be on the air. So, excuse me, I know it's been a long day. You can hear my voice coming and going here, but we're continuing to give you guys the very latest here on the updates. You can see toward Bradford County now, toward Bradford County. We do have some stronger wind potential still out toward the west here. You can see some of that here moving in toward the western parts of the county now around New River. Starting to get into some of the worst of this there in the next several minutes. You see Brooker and Worthington Springs. Again, we have to just keep watching because all of a sudden we could get greens and reds touching, or we could get brighter greens and reds, and that could require a new warning. Hopefully it didn't happen, but with the history of these off toward the west, 5 minutes you'll get good scans, okay, not severe, and all of a sudden you get severe, and then later on you get a tornado warning. So the parameters are still there for that to happen. So as the thunder starts to pick up closer toward Stark, you're hearing some of that in the background, maybe on a microphone, and we'll be showing you more of that video here that we have in just a moment. I know 77 degrees where I'm at right now, pressure at 1,000, 9,000, 10 millibars. So as we continue to track some of the different values, the wind up to 19 miles an hour at 312 this afternoon. So just always interesting to kind of keep our eyes on things here in the Weather Center. And we're going to let it get through Bradford County, through Stark. And then if we don't have any warnings at that point, we'll probably wrap things up again unless we really see something. But and of course, just play it by ear. But there's enough wind. I mean, this is moving right now. And it's a little harder to pick out in some regard because of the way it's still in here with the radar. But some of the stronger wind likely moving into areas here just up toward southwest 113th Avenue right now as we get just toward the east there, Roy, over you see New River and southeast, and then Brooker getting to some of the heaviest of the action right now here at 926. Again, Gainesville's doing pretty good, though, thankfully, down there in Alachua County. The worst end to your north, and then off toward your south and west, this is special marine warning action. It's a lot worse than it's showing. We're just looking really high up on the beam there, so you're not seeing heavier rainfall. But this is heavy rainfall coming in too. Our rainfall here, you can see 2 inches in this purple area. Let me go ahead and this is east of 75, by the way. Zooming on down here, Price Creek Road. You kind of get the idea. There as we're looking off toward the south there of Lulu by a pretty good ways as we get toward that area. And that could be what to expect here as we look towards Stark. Could be similar to what we saw the other night, but with that added chance that the storm goes severe again because of the dynamics in play. By the way, back up to 3 tornado warnings again in Virginia. We had fallen down to 2, but new tornado warning for Charlotte and Halifax counties in Virginia. So it's been a rough night up there. Luckily, right now, that warning for Baker, Union, Charlton no longer in effect. It was also in effect for parts of Columbia. That's been expired, but still, again, we want to let this get through Bradford County. We're going to stay with it here. We're going to continue to stay with it. Let's go ahead and pull up our camera again. We're going to get that ready to go here for you over the next several moments. Going to try to pull that up for you guys there to give you that visual of the sky conditions looking back there past dark off toward the west. So let me go ahead. We'll hit the button now. I see it's flashing pretty good while I have it on here. We'll pop it up for you guys now. You'll be able to see what we're talking about. There's that lightning there. You're seeing those flashes. There's some thunder in the background here. Definitely telling the weather story. Definitely telling the weather story here on this Friday night. You can see how things are going there with that lightning. Really lighting the sky up now as it gets closer towards dark. This electrical energy the storm is providing. The storminess is providing the positive strikes. Those would hit the ground. The negative strikes, not necessarily seeing that as we're talking about cloud strikes. But again, just going to continue to watch things here as we look off toward the west here. Again, just trying to give you these visuals. Sometimes hard to talk over them. Maybe seeing some different things and bugs or something on the camera lens from time to time. I know I actually saw some type of animal out there the other night looking during the lightning. So you just never know what you see. Animals kind of disturbed by this weather as well. So you just have to kind of be mindful of what can go on here. But again, you just want to keep on watching, keep on tracking things as we look. I know there's a little bit of something on the camera there, but this little spot, you can't really see where I'm pointing, but again, just continuing to watch the situation here. And just get little things in there, but you see all that lightning for sure. Definitely telling the story. Definitely telling the weather story here tonight. Out toward parts of Bradford County. This accident in western Bradford now. All this lightning, all this electrical energy lighting up the sky, causing all these flashes. It's moving in, and we're here to track it for you. So again, this is the viewpoint, live viewpoint, exclusive viewpoint here from the Stark Area Camera Network. We're just using one camera view at this point, but looking back off from Stark toward the west here at this light show going on right now. Definitely lighting up the sky here with the electrical energy. Again, the different types of strikes we've talked about them, positive and negative. You generally have more negative strikes, but the positive ones are more dangerous here. That can damage things on the ground, like computers, things like that, TVs. You just got to be careful as this accident moves on into the picture. And it's coming on, and there's all these frequent strikes. This stuff's not going to weaken like it did maybe the other night either, just because of the way the pattern is. It's not a summertime pattern. It's a more organized pattern here. Things could actually strengthen as they come into town. So you got to keep that in mind here. Again, this is looking east of Stark back toward the west through Stark and across Bradford County at these lightning strikes right now. I'm just giving you guys this visual here of what's going on in this continuous strong storm coverage. At this point, no formal warning implied, but a significant weather advisory implied. All that frequent lightning occurring with this storminess here. It's impressive for sure. It's lighting up the sky here as we look on off toward the west. As you continue to watch me on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, with this coverage, we're just trying to keep you guys abreast of the situation, obviously, here. As we look at all this lightning, definitely lighting up the sky here tonight. In Bradford County. So that's the view for now. We'll go ahead and come back on camera and give you another radar update now at 9:31. Definitely a unique viewpoint for sure. It's always interesting to get these visuals here, but I'll go ahead and come back on now. See more of that lighting even after we take it off the screen, obviously, here. But want to get back to the radar for now. I'm hearing that thunder pick up some. You can see here getting a little more of the opposing winds now. Nothing necessarily imminent for a warning, but we're getting some rotation here, closer towards Sampson, closer toward Brooker. Nothing imminent for a warning right now, but you just got to stay on guard here. You just got to stay on guard. Let me get on over to other mode. Let me get onto other mode right now. Again, we generally don't stay on for stuff that's not warm, but because of the situation with the watch and play, we've been doing things a little different today, at least with this situation, this hybrid type scenario that we're dealing with. And how things keep coming and going. We were on for a while, kind of like summertime, and we went off and just did different cut-ins for scenarios, and now we're just going to stick with it through Bradford, and hopefully we'll get lucky and not have any more warnings. But I've said that so many times today, and it hadn't come true. So I'm not seeing the rotation as much here. It's more of a broad pattern on this color table, but you have a lot of lightning. I mean, along State Road, just south of State Road 100. I mean, there's State Road 100 right there. And then I'll move the map up a little. Now, some of this wind, I don't think that's accurate to where could be some window toward Lake Butler. It depends on the angle that we're hitting things. But you can definitely see the broad area rotation down here. There may be some wind, maybe not to 60, but that's kind of what it's showing. But could be seeing here. This storm, it's all that lightning that's coming right for where we're at here at the studio, eastern Bradford County. Pretty much. Hopefully it doesn't get as bad as it looks. I mean, not severe. But still could damage your equipment, still could damage things here. This lightning, you gotta bear that in mind here. A lightning storm headed towards Stark over the next several minutes. So let me go ahead and come back on the camera now. We're watching things carefully in the weather center. You can see this heavier rainfall there. It's starting to move into ward areas on Southwest 66 lane now. Already starting to hit the moderate rain. You kind of get the idea. Sampson here, as a new significant weather advisory has just been issued at 10:30 for parts of Bradford and Clay and Duval counties here. So the latest advisory will be coming out here in just a moment from the Weather Service on this screen here, or one of our screens that we say. Again, the rotation here not showing up as impressive on some other modes. That's the good news. No formal warnings in play, but lightning is dangerous, obviously, and that very well could be the biggest threat from this, unless something really pulses up on us, or we get like some type of couplet where we have the opposing winds coming on in. Again, generally we would not do this. We would not do this during the summer unless something really bizarre was happening, or it was clear something we needed to be on for was happening with those pop-up storms. But this is an organized setup. We've had all these warnings to the west. We've had the thunderstorm watch that still remains in effect for another 26 minutes. No, again, warnings, but advisories are on play here. Significant weather for strong thunderstorm acts, and those winds maybe 50 miles an hour, give or take. That's still a possibility. Could still knock out some power, obviously. So, gonna go ahead. I know we have our backup systems and everything, but just looking, catching my eye for a flashlight just in case we lose power in here. So again, this action's coming on in. With this lighting, we haven't lost power at Roy except for a few flickers since Irma. So we'll see what happens. But again, this is not Irma, obviously. I'm just saying, though. I mean, obviously, power outages are events in and of themselves, and magnitude of events don't necessarily matter. But again, we'll go ahead and continue to watch this situation. As we look out toward Brooker, we have some wind there, maybe toward Graham. There in Bradford County, we're watching some of that right there. As we watch the Doppler radar, again, this is a lightning storm. Those electrical devices, they could be impacted by the dangerous weather conditions we're seeing. So, again, not severe in nature officially, but any new advisory does go out for 40-mile-an-hour winds now. So they think the severe potential is dropping with this band, which is good, but it's coming in Jacksonville as well, Duval County, and the metro. The lightning isn't as copious down up there, but down here it is copious. I hear it outside right now. I think that might be my cue here to go ahead and punch the camera system up again. It's getting closer. It's definitely getting closer now here in this environment, in this setup as it moves on in. So let's go ahead and punch this up here. Going to get this up for you here. Once again, look out toward the west. We're looking through Stark and back to the west now at the storminess. That's what we're going to be doing here on this camera system. It's really lighting up the sky as you would anticipate in this type of scenario. So here's the shot now without further ado. You can see what's going on, lighting up the sky here as we look back out toward the west. Really electrical activity here that we're seeing is continuing to stay with it, even if it's not severe. Again, we generally don't do this, but because of the nature, just want to kind of guide you through it, at least as it gets through Bradford County, because the electrical nature of this is something that's pretty unusual. Another night of that thunder, maybe scaring animals, something like that. We're seeing all that lightning right now live on the air, broadcasting this visual from Bradford County all over the country. If anybody's watching here in different areas of the country and the world, globally even, to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. I know actually some of this lightning the other night, and tonight too, is going to be seen from space though, with some different technology that's being used. But again, as you're looking here, you see the things in the sky. I mean, we can look for low orange when there's flashes, but seemingly right now, at least, based on the indications we're getting from the Weather Service, more of an electrical storm. And it's hard to see any type of low orange in there when it flashes. But again, you see all those flashes here on the screen. You can hear some thunder in the background here. This action's coming in this dark, and you're watching it live on Clouds Weather here on this Friday night. Again, the electrical energy looking outside the window for you, really, with that. As you hear some of this thunder, I know the weather can definitely have issues tomorrow, Saturday morning, and it could end up having a couple inches here in the worst spots on not on the ground necessarily, but this isn't snow, if you know what I mean. But we're talking about a couple inches of rain here that'll be soaking into the ground at least. So again, continuing to watch this situation. This is not a tornado situation, we don't think at this point, and it's not warned for a severe thunderstorm. But just because we're able to give you these visuals, we're able to kind of tuck you through it. So then usually high amount of light in here for start. Just kind of want to stay with this, obviously, as it could get kind of wicked out there over the next few moments. Some of you are already experiencing that, obviously, based on the visual we're showing you right now. Just really lighting things up here. Friday night, some Friday night fireworks, I guess you could call them. You're maybe not getting their fireworks, the real thing, but you're getting Mother Nature's fireworks right now live on the air. So again, just trying to give you guys a look here at 9:39 now. Just all those flashes out there. You can hear more of that thunder starting to pick up. You can hear more of that thunder here. Let's go back on over now. We'll cut back on over. Move away from the camera network. We're going to go ahead and continue to watch that. There's more flashes as you would anticipate here. No formal warning, but a heavy rain's about to be picking up where we're at. So we'll probably go back for that here in the next few moments. The worst of this is starting to move right across Stark now in Bradford County. Let's go to lightning tracker though, because there's been some issues today with some of this. So let's see if we can get lightning up on our other mode. That would be helpful. There's been some issues here with some of the technology. I mean, everything this morning, everything was down pretty much at one point on one of the softwares that we use here, but luckily that got fixed here. When our issue was a vendor issue, but again, we'll go ahead and go back on over to our radar scope now. I'm not seeing the lightning tracker, but it is in here. We'll try to get that up, and they are going. Okay, they're now going with a warning. This is why we stayed on the air here, folks. Severe thunderstorm warning for Bradford, Clay, and Union now until 10:30 with a tornado possible tag. So as it picks up right where we're at now, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning in play here until 10:30. We just wanted to stay on the air because you just never know what can happen. So now the situation's increasing in intensity, increasing in potential danger again now. And that warning will pop up here on our systems momentarily. Let me pop back on camera so we can give that to you here as quickly as possible. That's a big warning. Wow. The way they're stretching that out there, they are kind of concerned, I think. Let's see some information here. So the worst, I think, is 9 miles southwest to start this fight. I was trying to figure out where the worst might be, but our lightning tracker isn't really, we're having issues with that right now, but we have a lightning tracker outside the window that we can use, and things are expected to get more dangerous than is what we're seeing. And let me kind of go over radar scope, because this is about where the worst would probably be, right where we have this little arrow here. There's the lightning that's coming back up here at times on this source. You can kind of see here all this electrical energy still around State Road 100. So this is not going to be over for a little while here, folks, as you can see with that lightning on here. The nature of things, again, now we have a severe thunderstorm warning in place. So again, that's why I didn't want to jump off, because you just never know in this setup here. And you hear the rain picking up. So I think that's the cue to go back to the camera again, give you guys a visual outside. But here's your warning. Well, I'll swing up here, but it'll be here in just a sec. Let me come back on camera or just pop it up over here just in case somehow we lose power or we have backups, but we take a lightning hit or something like that. I just want to go ahead and see you guys the warning here downstream. Does it go into toward Middleburg and Kingsley as well here, as we do have some 60-mile-an-hour winds and some hail there. It could be 3/4 of an inch, but tornado possible tag is a concern as well. So let's go back to the camera network. We're going to go ahead and punch that back up again here. I want to make sure we have all that ready for you guys here. So as the storminess does come on into the picture here at 9:42. Well, that rain's really coming down now. It actually kind of obscures things a pretty good bit, but let's go ahead and we'll pop it up anyway, just so the lightning flashes through it here at times. Using some newer technology here, but we'll go ahead and switch on over. You can really see, looks pretty wicked out there. This is the rain, obviously. You can kind of see through the rain, the flashes though, as we look back on off toward the west here. Again, this is rain, if you're wondering what this is. It looks a little odd the way we have it set, but you kind of get the idea. Just kind of look through the flashes here. Look through the rain for the flashes, I'm saying. But again, a pretty nasty situation out there right now. As we try to give you this visual, it's a stormy night out there for sure. Definitely experiencing that right now with that severe thunderstorm warning being issued here in place. So again, they're just giving us an update now in the chat section. The southern flank of the line of storms had a peak in lightning activity just recently, and with broad rotation aloft, they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning now through 10:30 with a tornado possible tag due to weak rotation on the radar. It's moving through Stark and approaching Kingsley and Middleburg here over the next several moments. So again, this is looking outside. We're east of Stark, looking back towards Stark, but again, rain's obscuring things pretty good right now the way we have this set up. But you can kind of get the idea. It's raining heavy out there. We already have a 1/4 inch on our rain gauge. Just that quick. This blast is definitely wicked. indicative of the nasty weather. So we're going to cut away from this for now, I think, as we continue to watch, continue to track this situation. I just kind of hear that rain coming on down this Friday night. Again, we do have a warning in play though, and that's always concerning as we move away. More flashes, folks, on the camera, on our camera system. But let's go back on over to the radar, because sometimes you can see things on the radar you can't actually see there on the camera, especially the way things are being obscured. Again, there's your Doppler, there's your rainfall. Moving on through heavy rainfall, moving through Stark here. Now moving through Bradford County again. Zooming in real tight, you see 301 there. This right here, this line 301, and then I know the bypass 301 just off to the west here, and you have 100. Everybody's getting heavy rain. Maybe some wind potential in here. Maybe some rotational potential here as well. So we gotta be mindful. We have different areas of rotation in here. Not really tight. Not enough for a tornado warning right now, but there are some weak areas there. We just gotta remain situationally aware, really, in this environment. So again, you see here this warning until 10:30 for parts of Bradford, Clay, and Union. Roya and where Bradford is, where the worst of this right now is, right where we're at in the county, at least the county itself. Granted, the worst probably still to our west a little bit, as you can tell on lightning tracker. But into where Bradford County itself, you can still see a lot of this lightning still up to the west. I mean, sometimes you hear heavy rain, you think it's over, but no, this is going to be a prolonged event here over the next half hour or so, potentially based on some of our radar indications here. So we have to just kind of get through this here over the next little bit in Bradford County. Again, the southern flank of the line, according to the Weather Service, I'll read it again from the chat session. It had a peak in lightning activity just recently, and with broad rotation aloft, there was a severe thunderstorm warning through 10:30 with a tornado possible tag due to weak rotation on radar, moving through Stark and approaching Kingsley and Middleburg. So up to 4/10 of an inch right now. Barometric pressure is up a little bit to 1,011.5 millibars. But just kind of giving you guys an idea of those pressure trends, kind of an interesting thing. More in the national type setup level was down to about 1,008.8 earlier. We're at 72 degrees right now. You kind of get the idea. But again, just trying to look at some of those observations as you hear that thunder picking up still. And that lightning is going to get worse. It's not over, folks. You hear the heavy rain. The lightning is actually concentrated according to this. We've had some issues with lightning tracker, but I believe this here. Off toward this area where we have the area we could have a little bit of hail even mixing in. So again, watching things carefully right now. Still got to be paying attention here, folks. The threat is going to be lasting through a little bit longer. Warning goes for another 20. Make that 43 minutes here. In fact, let me come back on camera. Again, nasty weather in Bradford County right now. Raining with you. Trying to get you guys through it. I know we're doing some different things with the radar right now. Just last check, 15 miles an hour at Keystone. But you heard that thunder taking on up. So let's go back on over once again to the camera. Let's go back to the blink camera here. We'll go back on over to Wardak. Give you guys a visual right now on what is going on. We'll try to give you guys that viewpoint here right now of the situation to kind of look outside at. You'll definitely kind of actually hear a little bit of a wane in the rain, but that's just temporary. As we go back on over, that lightning is definitely fierce out there tonight. As we go ahead and pop that view up for you again. We'll go ahead and pop that view up for you once again. You see here, there's the look at things right now. Here's some more thunder in the background. Looking back again, this is looking where the east is Stark. We're looking toward Stark and back toward the west. Kind of try to keep an eye on the trees with the rain less intense. You can actually maybe see a little bit better here. But again, continuing to watch, continue to track this. There's some more electrical energy, folks. I mean, you can really see it lighting up the sky here tonight. Hear that thunder from what we just saw here. We're probably seeing, that could be that one, because there is a little bit of a delay, about 4-second delay, something like that on here. But you kind of get the idea I'm talking about with the camera imagery now. That, of course, thunder, you see the blast outside, and then that's how you determine that. But again, we're continuing to watch this situation. Watching the camera network here, watching this visual here of this lightning coming through coming through the Bradford County area right now. Again, you saw how it's still going to be a little bit of a prolonged event. We're up to 0.56 on our rain gauge now as we continue to watch the severe thunderstorm warning scenario here. Severe thunderstorm warning. Remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. You should be indoors during this. But really, you want to be in that sturdy building away from windows. That's important as well in this type of setup here. So, again, continuing to monitor this. You see all that electrical activity here in this situation. So, again, looking out at the view off toward the west here, giving you guys a view of the deluge that we're getting right now. A rainfall rate, let me tell you this, we actually had an 11-inch rainfall rate for a moment. Granted, it's not going to be that heavy, but and that might be overdoing it there, but the point being, that's how heavy things are at this point. But again, continuing the warning now, they've canceled out Union, still continuing for Bradford and Clay with a severe thunderstorm for 60-mile-an-hour winds and that tornado possible tag. So we still have to watch out here for something to spin up on us really quick in this. Again, looking outside right now, that lightning definitely telling this story here as we look back on the view. I know there's not really many cameras you can look at, so this is about the only place if you want to look at this storm right now really close up. So you got to watch right here on cloud weather to get this visual. So again, this live visual like this here, kind of in the storm pretty much. So again, watching things carefully. A severe storm as we're looking back off toward west here from the east of Stark. So that's what the storyline is. Again, you see the lightning. Again, that's rain. If you're wondering what the reflection is there, a little bit interesting viewpoint. But again, we'll keep our eyes on this. Keep our eyes on this camera. Let's go ahead and come back onto the radar again. Make sure nothing's happening. That's kind of not what you want to see. So let me go ahead and kind of punch away from this here. Let me go ahead and punch away from this as we continue to get the latest updates in, obviously. Let me go ahead and take our super off and then come back here. So again, we're looking at the Doppler radar now. More lightning. I keep saying it every time I jump away from it. We could keep that up all night, but we'll just go away from that for now. Again, you can see here, still have all this wind and rain to get through over the next several minutes. I mean, it's still an issue in Bradford County. The latest update, by the way, so the storm, the worst of it near Sampson or near Stark. So that's something to kind of bear in mind here. So the worst of it kind of probably, again, this is a big complex of storms. It's harder to pinpoint, but you actually see a little rotation down here if I kind of point it out above my hand a little. But I mean, even up here we're seeing some. So you see the wind shift at least. So winds going in different directions here. So that's something we're keeping our eyes on very carefully. As we get back up to the north here, again, if you're wondering, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch to continue this coverage here this Friday night. So there's storms moving through Bradford County and Stark. We're watching the action as it does come on through right now. The electrical energy, there's positive strikes, there's negative strikes, things to that effect here in play. So again, severe thunderstorm warning for Bradford County. Right now, not a tornado warning at this point. There's still a thunderstorm watch till 10, by the way. They could do a local extension, but the watch at this point, not sure really matters too much because this is actually moving outside the watch here. But you get the idea. We have the storm you see toward Gainesville. You see there's not too much around Gainesville. They're getting really lucky right now in Alachua County, but not the case in Bradford County here with the storm is moving on through up to about 0.67 here on that rain gauge. Just that quickly here into Bradford County. So I know we do have 3 tornado warnings in Virginia. You might be watching from a national standpoint. You see those red boxes up there, some radar indicated circulations. Tornado watch is there, but down to the south is where we have this thunderstorm warning. The worst weather in Florida right now is in Bradford County, folks. The worst weather, probably, I mean, North Carolina, depends on if you want to count it as the southeast, but outside of North Carolina in the southeast, the worst weather in the southeast right now is in Bradford County outside of North Carolina. So, again, that's what's going on right now. Starting moving to Clay a little bit, but the worst is still in Bradford here at this point, for sure, based on our velocity modes here. Let's go back to the camera. Want to make sure, in case we have some type of lower and we don't miss it. So let's get back up here on that. Since we did that weak rotation, we just want to make sure we're kind of getting that perspective for you guys here. That unique perspective, since this is about the only way you can look at something like this here, is on cloud weather. So again, continuing to watch. I know We're going to get that on up here for you. Just a few seconds, and it's taking a beating there in that rain tonight. But you have that lightning around, you have that heavy rain, as I just alluded to here. Yeah, it's really coming down good. Really coming down good right now. So let's go ahead and switch back on over now to the camera network. And we'll pop on up the viewpoint there. You can see all that electrical energy. Definitely can see that. It's definitely dangerous here tonight. Down to 69.7, by the way. We're up to 3/4 of an inch of rain as we're watching the situation here east of Stark. All that electrical energy being sown here on this camera, giving you guys that view. It is a wicked storm out there, as they've been warning about over the last little bit here, into Bradford County, into Clay County. And the threat here apparent. You can see it in terms of the heavy rainfall and the lightning. There's some wind in here. Might not want to make that out too well. Maybe want to see the trees blowing in there from time to time. If you kind of look carefully there, I know my mouse doesn't show up on here, but if you look at the trees, they're blowing some. Let's see the wind gust here. I have that actually. Haven't got to our peak, but we're to 10 miles an hour, which is going to underdo it a little bit because of where it's at overall there. But it's not up as high as maybe you would like for an anemometer. But it does a good job on some of the other readings like rain gauge and temperature. But still at a pretty good spot overall. But anyway, again, continuing the coverage. We're at 9:55 now. Been on for a long time. Been on since about 1 something with coverage pretty much, which, I mean, that tells you how busy it's been here today in the Weather Center. And we're not done yet, obviously, with this accident coming on through. Again, you see the heavy rain. You see the lightning here. Definitely telling that weather story as we're looking at this coming on through right now. Again, parts of Bradford County, parts of Clay County here with this warning until 10:30 tonight. So, again, a severe thunderstorm warning in play. Let me go ahead and pop up the precautions here for you guys again. Gonna go ahead and make sure you guys remember what to do in these type of situations here, obviously, as we kind of leave this camera up for a little bit longer here. Again, with thunder roars, you should go indoors, obviously, seek shelter in that 30 building, really interior room with a tornado possible tag. It doesn't hurt to take, go ahead and just take that precaution here as well, and then stay away from those windows here as well. So again, just continuing to watch things, continuing to watch this visual here. Hear that rain picking up. Could get some more of our lightning to pick up here as well. So remember, again, dangerous lightning. Those electrical devices could have issues here with all this electrical energy that we are seeing. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in play for another 33 minutes. So, continuing the coverage here. You can hear that rain probably in the microphone a little bit being picked up. You can definitely hear some of that. And this warning is still continuing here with some nasty weather moving through north central Florida tonight. Moving in northeast Florida, technically you would call Clay County northeast, and Bradford here is north central. But again, continuing to watch all this electrical energy here, trying to narrate the visuals the best I can here. Some unique visuals here right now of the weather conditions. So again, looking on off here at the situation, trying to give you guys everything that's going on here live on the air as the situation does continue here. For some folks to deteriorate, for some folks off toward the west is going to start to improve here, of course. But again, trying to just see what's happening here with that rain. Really coming on down, almost up to an inch now here. I mean, been going really fast here with this rainfall for sure over the last little bit. Definitely seeing those rainfall rates be up there very high. 0.95 inches is more lightning there. Continues to be seen within some of this rainfall. So again, there's your look right now. Continuing to give you guys, so I know we repeat ourselves here, but just want to kind of guide you through this here. Guide you through it here on this Friday night. So I'm going to move away from this for now, then come back to the radar again. Just crazy to see all that lightning here live on the air, but we'll continue to watch it. I hear a little bit of slacking in the rain for now, but again, things could change. Again, let's go ahead and move away from this here at the present time. Let me go ahead and move away here from this at the present time, and we'll come back on camera here with you. So again, there's your Doppler radar. You see the heavy rain, storming is moving on through. Let me get back on over here to other mode. You see some There is a wind enhancement at least here on the south side of Stark. Let's check this real quick. Just curious. Check correlation coefficient. Make sure we're not seeing anything crazy here. We're not at this point, so that's good news, obviously. Now, some of the worst of this, it may be setting up even in North Clay County here at this time as you get closer toward areas there around State Highway 21. So we'll continue to watch all of that, of course, now toward Keystone Airport. Last observation was only 26 miles an hour, so that's pretty low here, considering what we've been seeing on the camera. We're starting to, it seems like here as we kind of look at things, we're starting to prove a little right about 10 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock hour. We're just going to come on through, and now we're starting to see, at least in Stark, things improve some, it seems. Still got to watch out for lightning, though. As you get toward Hampton, for instance, they're still getting some pretty nasty weather. And then I'm going to see if we get our lightning up here on our other mode. I'm going to go ahead and see what's going on with this. Just checking some different things, looking at it. You can kind of tell by the visual here where things are right now for sure. Let's go back to radar scope. Kind of see you guys some things. We're at 10 o'clock now, continuing to coverage. You can see here with the radar now, things have started to look a little bit better here. We're starting to see more of an alignment of rotation maybe toward the east, and this is weaker areas overall, but we still got to be mindful, obviously, of what can happen here as we're still watching some of this action. We're still keeping our eyes on things. We're now to 1 inch on the rain gauge, by the way, here in eastern Bradford County, 1.01 to be precise, and we did not actually get above that gust of 19 earlier on here. In the last 10 minutes, our highest wind gust here, they kind of go through some things. Well, okay, I actually did get to 19, it looks like. Okay, because it didn't surpass it, it didn't show it as a peak, but we did end up getting to 19 miles an hour, but not surpassing it, based on what I'm seeing here in the Weather Center. So anyway, kind of giving you guys that visual here on what's going on, some different perspectives, obviously, as we continue with this. Let me go ahead. Okay, they're continuing to warn. It's still a tornado possible tag for parts of Bradford and Clay. I will see this up to date here in just a moment. See the new polygons come on out here as this pushes into Clay. Eventually, going to be pushing in toward Arizona Green Cove and St. Johns County there, St. Augustine, South Bonavita Beach. It's moving off toward the east there. The latest update, 40. The worst is now saying near Kingsley or near Keystone. So that's kind of what I was starting to figure here within some of our maps. You actually see a little enhancement here on this area here as we get down toward, it looks like it's outside of the warning, but getting closer there towards some of these different roadways. I'll punch up in the warning a little bit with this. We'll continue to watch out. Not really seeing the roads pop up, so that's good, obviously, here with this. But let me go ahead and punch on up radar scope again. Continuing to watch. I know sometimes I won't talk for a little bit. I was just trying to kind of get an eye and keep an eye on things. See, Gainesville actually started to see some more development down there, it looks like, in Alachua County. So that's kind of interesting to see as this kind of passes on through here at 10 o'clock on this Friday. There's lightning there to the north. You see how it's all mainly migrated now into toward Clay County. So, again, we're continuing to watch that. I know we had a gust earlier, last few minutes. Cedar Key, 41 miles an hour. So that's something that's noteworthy. As you can kind of see here, again, we'll keep our eyes on things on the radar. Let's see if there's any type of anything in correlation coefficient. Now, this is going to be some interesting signatures we might have to deal with here, but let me go ahead and check. Kind of get on in here. See if anything's co-located. Sometimes you get some false echoes here. Just bear with me. Just trying to evaluate this. That doesn't really look a line. It looks more like just the overall pattern in between the range. So that's the good news of it. We'll keep our eyes on that, obviously. Keep our eyes on this here. As you see that accent getting there toward areas there around Penny Farms and Asbury Lake. And see Middleburg getting in some of this right now. And eventually over to our Green Cove Springs. You kind of get the idea. Again, the movement here, the latest update from the Weather Service. Actually, it's giving us an error right now. Let me see. Okay, so still have the warning now until 10:30. So let me go ahead and I'll come back on camera for a second and get that movement for you guys, and then may go back over there. But that warning still is in play. This is a warning here moving east at 40 miles an hour. Let's go back over here now. moving east at 40 miles an hour. We'll go ahead and kind of try this on out. So that gets it off the coast here by about 11 o'clock tonight or so. So that's definitely some good news of that area. We have other areas we'll have to watch. The parameters still could promote some storminess, but at least if we get another warning here, that warning will probably go off the board by about 11 or so. And I'd be able to rest my voice for a little bit. That'd be something positive for me, but hopefully for everybody to kind of dry out some. So far, just a little over an inch where I'm at, toward eastern Bradford County, in toward the dark area, but we're still watching to see if a new warning is issued for Green Cove. As let me take this off because it might get a little confusing for you guys if you're looking at this, but kind of zoom back out a little bit. Let's put this into motion. Take a second, but I'm gonna put it into motion. We don't do that enough sometimes. Here we can actually do that a little bit easier now, but you can kind of see here, looking through Stark area, you can see how we've had some of this kind of pushed on through. There's that electrical energy kind of pushing on out now. Hopefully there hadn't been too many issues, but take a little bit to get that information in, obviously. But you see that electrical energy, all that lightning here kind of pushing on over toward the east there, toward areas there in Clay County now. Over the last few minutes again. Let me give you perspective on where we're at. So this right here, right there is Stark. Down here is Hampton. And over here is Penny Farms. I underline them. So again, I'm going to continue to watch the situation as the storms evolve. As they move on out. 69 degrees, by the way, what the reading is. It's what the reading is right now as we look toward Bradford County. So temperature-wise, rain gauge 1.03 inches. Kind of see this accent pushing on a little bit here now as we continue to watch, continue to monitor the situation there. You see State Road 100, we're starting to see some of that still on that road as you go from start to Keystone, but really seeing issues towards State Road 16 there, or really areas around there and toward that area there and around Penny Farms. So again, I know I'm looking at this here. Kind of, it's a new look at this. I apologize. I may be misreading this a little bit, but again, let me come back on camera, give you guys the latest information. So, just trying to see what's happening here. You still see some areas of greens and reds, but a lot of that's excellent in a warning here. So, it'll be interesting to see if they see a new warning downstream. Maybe even further down it could get. I know we were tracking a little more, but this is trying to track it further down, maybe towards southern St. John. So we'll see. We'll watch it. We'll monitor it for you. See some storms trying to develop around Gainesville. They're nothing severe in nature necessarily down there. Not even seeing too much lightning from what I've seen. But another update, they're saying the storm is taking on a more distinct bow shape. So maybe bowing out some. That could actually get some stronger winds to the surface then, I would think. As we're looking across central Clay and it'll continue eastward through eastern Clay and northern Putnam over the next half hour or so. So that probably means a new warning's coming. We'll wait though, and it's going to be at least an advisory, but with a bow like that, they may want to err on the side of caution here and see a new warning out as we're watching the situation as it progresses. So again, we're at 10:07 right now. We've been with you since the 1 o'clock hour, so giving you updates on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and Twitch to keep you guys informed. We've seen damage like the areas in Georgia, like Berrien County. I know we're watching that area very carefully earlier on. We were watching things off toward Color County. We had a debris signature pop up. We had issues as we looked out there toward areas there around Taylor County. Taylor County there, we were watching things in toward that area. Maybe some damage there from a tornado. Maybe it's been wind damage. We'll have to find out on that. Now we've seen the storms go further into North Central Florida and move across this dark area. So again, waiting to see what the Weather Service decides to do here at 10:08 on this Friday night. Again, tracking the situation very carefully here in the Weather Center. Trying to give you guys the latest update, obviously, to protect you, your friends, and your family here. As we look at the Doppler radar scans, try to give you guys that very latest information. So, just trying to look over this side even. I know right now, let's just go ahead and keep an eye on Green Cove because this is some stronger winds that could be trying to move on in. Whether we get a warning or not, well, hadn't come across yet, but and they are going to go with a new warning now. It actually clips a little bit of Bradford and Alachua here with the weather tracking this now. It also goes into Putnam. Clay obviously is where it mainly is now, but It goes into Putnam and St. John's here until 11. Hopefully it gets it closer to the coast, if not off the coast. But we'll see it pop up here in just a second. And I've been switching between some of our different warning settings here. So this setting will be a little bit slower probably, but yeah, okay, actually not quite getting us to the coast yet. As we go ahead, and I just have these for backups. That's what we kind of have the slower one sometimes. But so there it is. There it is right now. You can see this bowing on out, and you see Palaca's under the warning, but it's took me a little bit till it gets there. But Great Cove Springs, even Keystone getting into some of this, and Northeastern a lot to it. So what we're gonna do right now, though, is take a 5-minute break in the coverage. This warning, this new warnings for southeastern parts of Bradford, northeastern Alachua, southwestern St. John, the northern Putnam, as well as Clay, until 11. So if a thunderstorm is located along that line extending from near Dodgers Inlet to 7 miles north there, George's Lake, or to near Keystone, moving east at 25 miles an hour. Palaca, Green Cove Springs, Keystone Heights, East Palaca, Fruit Cove, Middleburg, Wardgoff Village, Flora Home, Federal Point, and Barton, all under this. We're going to take, again, a 5-minute break. Be back about 10:15 with more information. Stay safe out there on this Friday night.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at 10:15. New severe thunderstorm warning we were just tracking a moment ago. It's something that we really need to keep our eyes on because the Weather Service was talking about here in the chat that they were watching a mesovortice tied in their puny forms heading the general direction. They're just south of Green Cove. But right now they think the main threat will be this the rotation of the rear flank downdraft about ready to cross US 17. This south of Green Cove spraying and the 60-mile-an-hour winds would cover it for now with a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag versus going with an actual tornado warning. So again, we have to continue to watch this though. That's still there, and that could still get us a warning. I mean, it's going to go over to St. John's River here. Let me check this real quick, and after it does, I mean, it could be a water spout at that point. It could become that maybe as it gets into areas further downstream, we could end up seeing a tornado warning. So this threat's still not over as we're watching the scenario above. So again, got to continue to watch every radar scan here in the Weather Center. We'll go ahead and zoom back on in. Again, we're looking here, street level mapping. We'll go ahead and get on in here right now. You can see ZDR is not showing too much upscale growth, but it's showing a little bit there. Again, it's circulation here. Trying to see if we can get some of these streets to pop up. Lost Acre Road is one of them in here. County Road 15A, US Highway 17. I mean, no formal tornado warning, but sticking out. Could have some wind damage concerns. If you hear some odd noises, might not be a bad idea to do it. And just take those tornado precautions, whether it's straight line winds or a brief spin up. Not a terrible idea to do those and take those. But again, we're looking south of Green Cove Springs right now. Again, no formal tornado warning, but Weather Service is really close to pulling that trigger a moment ago. Didn't tighten up maybe quite enough at that point, but we're going to have to continue to watch every radar scan here because this threat is not over as we look here west of US 17, really. Let me go on over to radar scope so you can kind of get a better idea of what is going on right now. So there's your reds and there's your greens. They're not quite tight enough maybe for a tornado warning yet, but this could tighten up rapidly, and then that could be a problem. And that could get us a tornado warning. Let's go ahead and check shear over the last little bit. If it'll pop up, maybe. You can kind of see some of that on here. It's kind of hard to see, but some of those little shear rate products. As we continue here on the cover, I know been on for a while, so just bear with me as I try to get the latest information in from the Weather Service and some different areas here within the radar as well. Different types of modes. So again, check for correlation coefficient to see if there's any debris. Not getting that right now, but that is a nasty little area there. The way that it's standing out, that definitely could cause some wind damage right in there. Across the St. John's River here over the next few moments. St. John's River as we're looking further on off, but we just got to be watching this here. It could be something for St. Augustine to watch here later on. Maybe we get a quick spin up in St. John's County. We got to be on guard for that potential here on this Friday night. Here, continuing to give you guys the latest updates, obviously, on this severe weather potential. By the way, 1.05 on the rain gauge east of Stark where I'm at, but let's get back on over right now. Let's get back on over to the other viewpoint of Doppler. You see the reds and the greens. They're there, but let's look at the rest of this as well. Let's look at the rest of this. You see up to the north, we're getting some wind down towards Sun Garden. And then you see towards Stark there again. Worst has moved on out at this point. But you see Kingsley still getting some nastier weather. I know the warning technically still has not been cleared for Stark, but at this point the worst has moved away from Stark. So it's an all clear now for Stark. Let me go ahead and emphasize that Hampton and Lodi here at this point. There's still some lightning, but otherwise, and that potential is moving to the east here at this point. You're still hearing some thunder, but overall the threat is really waning here at this moment. So that's the good news. But gotta continue to watch all these radar scans, obviously. Continue to watch things. Every scan is matters here at this point. Right here around US 17. Just make sure I don't get any type of weird signature and correlation coefficient on us. It's not really tight enough maybe for the tornado threat to be maximized, but that wind threat definitely could be. It could be knocking out some power. And speaking of power, I was looking at some of our power outage numbers just before we came on, and granted, these are not factoring in some places like, I know, for instance, the city of Stark, those numbers aren't actually on here, just based on not everybody's system is actually tracked here like this, but Clay Electric is. And we'll go ahead and pop this up right now. So Paradise.us here. You'll be able to see 3,521 customers in play that are in the dark, 46 on this at least in Bradford. You have 119 customers in Union, 487 in Columbia. Kind of get the idea. 49 in Sewanee, 29 there toward Lafayette County there. And then as we get off toward Taylor, we had maybe some issues there. 397 in the dark, so you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. As we watch all these scans, I see there's a special marine warning out from St. Augustine to Flagler Beach there to 11:15 tonight. We're continuing to watch the situation here out there. We're continuing to watch the scenario as it does evolve. We're going to go ahead and move away from this right now, though. Let me pop this back up. I know it's been a busy day here in the Weather Center. I might even try to, just because we've been on this for so long here, I might try to effort on. Yeah, let's pop this up. It may look a little odd. There's other ways to do this, but I'm going to pop it up on here. It may not be perfect. By the way, they have officially cleared Bradford and the part of Clay that was under the first one we were tracking there out. But this is going to be your filtered storm report. So this may not be perfect, so just bear with it. It's not going to be the best alignment, probably, unless we get lucky. But, okay, that's not as bad as it could be, though, as we look here at our storm reports. This is from the Storm Prediction Center today. You can see the greatest concentration we're right there, east Jordan to South Carolina. Only 4 tornado reports. A lot of that up more toward the Carolinas. This is filtered. Again, it's going to go up some probably under some surveys, maybe even some toward our area. We had a debris signature from McCullough, so that's just not in here because we haven't had any damage reports from that necessarily. But you get the idea. We've seen a little bit less of the concentration down here with the blues. That is your wind reports, wind damage reports. But I'm sure there's going to be some filtering in down here as the situation progresses. So again, this is from the Storm Prediction Center. Here, giving you guys that information. Let me take off real quick our logo, just so you guys, get an idea of what we're doing here. Just want to make sure you guys know exactly what we're looking at here on this Friday night from NOAA, of course. So it's just we have it framed. But again, this is that information here where the reports are. You can kind of see the little line here. I know Savannah's kind of dodged the bullet out there, but you see how things kind of lined up. There, the worst concentration again, probably up more toward Augusta, in toward that area. Just looking at this, we had a lot more power outages, so went up into concentration. So kind of interesting to see that. But let me go ahead and get our clock and get our logo back on here now. As we go ahead and get back on over toward the camera. So I just wanted to give you guys a little different perspective on things that they're gonna head now, and they expired the one for Bradford and Clay, then they canceled out Bradford and Clay out of the other one. But all said and done, we do have to watch this other area because there's still a tornado possible tag in here. I know Weather Service is gonna really watch this carefully. They gotta make sure people are safe. But I know it's a situation here, especially there's some season finales on tonight. On some of the networks, and people would be a little bit upset if they get interrupted for tornado warning coverage, but it'd be very necessary, and there are ways for you to watch those shows after the fact if they get interrupted on some streaming services, some streaming platforms. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we don't have to have a tornado warning, but other services watching the radar, and if they see something tighten up, a tornado warning will be issued here for some of these areas. I mean, that's something we're watching as it crosses the St. Johns River. I mean, right about now, it may tighten up over the river here, folks, or maybe it tightens up right after it crosses in, from the river back over land. Maybe that's friction, of the land causes it tightening up for a tornado warning. We'll just have to wait and see here. We'll have to wait and see as we look further on off toward the south and east, toward St. Augustine in this scenario. So again, we're watching things. You see that little bow there, and again, that can sometimes lead to a quick spin-up tornado. Be a weaker tornado probably, but it still be a tornado, and that still can be problematic. So again, we're watching this carefully here within the Doppler. You can kind of see here as we zoom on in, Bayard Road. That's where some of the worst of this is right now, right over it actually. And the latest scan, keep in mind radar scans every few minutes, and this is about 2 minutes ago, so it's going to be a little bit further off here at this point toward the east and maybe a little bit south as well. With that spin there and with that wind enhancement, at least maybe stronger winds down toward the surface. So again, we're watching this, we're watching everything as it does go on, and we'll take another 5-minute break. But of course, if a tornado warning gets issued, I'll jump in here as quick as I can to provide you that information to protect you, your friends, and your family. But otherwise, see you in about 5 minutes or so.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here at about 10:30, getting some new information just now from the Weather Service. They just have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15 for further parts of Putnam and St. John's. Getting this to the coast, and there still is a tornado possible today. Right now, they're just going with a severe thunderstorm warning for the St. Augustine metro, but obviously, if the rotation were to increase, then a tornado warning would be needed as it's pushing across that river there in towards St. Johns County. So that's something to watch. Right now, it's not tight enough for a tornado warning, though, and that's why they went with a yellow box versus the red box. Of course, if we had a purple box, that'd be a confirmed tornado here, and we would have to be a little more concerned, like we had the word with color earlier that popped up real quick. But again, we're monitoring things very carefully. You see Weston 95, and speaking of 95, I'm going to start to pop up some cameras here in a moment. Florida 511 perspectives again as we're looking Weston 95. So that'll be something that's kind of helpful, I think, here in the coverage. Let me kind of get my bearings a little bit. So this is kind of here. Probably get a camera just closer in here, up toward areas there, just northwest, maybe of Volano, something like that, depending on the angle, because the angle is important in this type of situation. Let's see what direction this is looking. Well, it's sliding up the sky. So let's just go to it. Then we'll go ahead and go to this camera here at this point on the traffic system. So let me go and take traffic full screen now. Go ahead and do that. You'll see it behind me. And you can see all those flashes here at this moment. The Florida 501 perspective as we're getting closer towards St. Augustine right now. You definitely see the lightning lighting up the sky here as we're looking toward mile marker 319 at Interstate 95. So again, that's definitely telling that weather story now. All that electrical energy that was toward Bradford County and Clay County now pushing into toward St. Johns County. You can see that here on the camera imagery right now as we continue to stick with you here at 10:32. We continue to see what's happening here in this circumstance, in this scenario. We try to give you guys the very latest information. So again, it's really lighting up the sky. As you can tell here tonight, definitely seeing that from this visual, looking outside here at the present time. Again, inside and away from windows where you want to be. You don't have a thunderstorm warning in play, like what we're dealing with right now. So again, continuing to watch this camera. Let me go ahead and move away from it for now, though. Go ahead and move away from it for right now. I will come back to the Doppler radar to see how things are looking. And that's explosive lightning, though, that we're looking at. Some positive light, positive strikes in there, some negative strikes. You kind of get the idea as this moves on off toward the east now. I have a little bit of storminess toward the south. We're watching. Excuse me, here as we look towards 75, but nothing too strong right now. We did get a gust of 39, believe it or not, in Gainesville with some of this activity. Not necessarily anything too strong down there, but a gust of 39 was recorded as we go ahead and go back up to the north. The lowest slices on the radar are showing the full potential for wind gusts at the moment due to the cross radial movement that we're tracking right now. So that's something serious. St. Augustine could have some power outages. Hopefully you charge up your devices there in St. Augustine, because that power outage potential could be headed toward you guys, depending on how this kind of maxes out here over the next little bit. So we have to continue to watch this potential, obviously, on this Friday evening with that logo still red. Now, I do have our model system, our computer model system here that will kind of pop up for you guys in just a second. I want to kind of see how this activity is expected to progress here with the latest updates. Still could have some things lingering. Hopefully it's not as strong as we get later on in the night, but you never know. Let's go ahead and get our model computer pulled up in about 10 seconds or so, give or take, as we continue to watch. Continue to bear with me on this coverage. Trying to give you guys the very latest information, obviously. So here's the model. This is looking all the way out to about 2 a.m., but let's back this on up. We'll back it up to Tuesday, which is about 10 o'clock. Now, it's not doing the best job in the whole world, but it's doing an okay job here. It's doing an okay job as we continue to watch. You can see here, storming that's pushing on down toward the south and east. 7:03 a.m. is moving out. You see the threat. Maybe some stronger storms in Central Florida during way into the overnight hours. But you can see here, right here, we're tracking 4Z's about midnight. You still see some potential trying to come on in. So we'll have to continue to watch our forecast model and watch the current radar images here in the Weather Center. So let's go ahead and move away from this right now, though. We'll move away from this. Come back on over to some of our different modes here of the Doppler. Let's try that again there. Nobody's got a significant weather advisory, believe it or not, popping on in. So let me go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that right now. Look down to the south. They have this as a significant weather advisory for this. It's hard to see off the Jacksonville radar, but down toward Micanopy, that general area. So something they're watching carefully. The Weather Service. Let me go ahead and zoom on down there. Go ahead and zoom on down there now. This is Macintosh, Citra, gust of 40 and pea-sized hail. So let me get down on the radar scope. Take myself off the camera for a second as we do that. So it's not severe, but it's strong in nature. Gotta continue to watch it. Gotta continue to watch it here. I know Weather Service is still watching toward the north, though, with the potential, obviously, for some more danger towards St. Augustine. The highest wind potential pushing into St. Augustine over the next little bit. Maybe not seeing quite as much rotation, but a lot of wind potential. Got to keep our eyes on it, obviously. Got to make sure things are safe down there in toward the St. Augustine area. Again, you see all that lightning as we cross the river into St. Johns County as we continue to watch this axon push on in. So I'm going to take a quick 2.5 minute break here as we continue to watch this move on in toward the St. Augustine area. Stay safe out there as we continue to watch the Doppler radar technology here across the area. I'll go ahead and zoom back out just a little bit so we continue to get a good look at things.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here in the Weather Center, it's about 10:40 on this Friday night. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, continuing to watch that damage and wind gust potential and rotation there, crossing on 95 and on its way in toward the St. Augustine metro area over the next little bit. So let's go ahead and zoom on in right now toward this zone. You'll be able to see what's happening here on velocity. In fact, some of the worst of this probably here. You can see it actually right there on this mode. I would switch between modes. We're on this computer right now, so that's where you can see it at this present time. So Just continuing to watch. I'm going to kind of lean over here real quick, just trying to give you guys a look at exactly what's going on here at some of our cameras. So let me go ahead and see what's happening here outside right now. Definitely seeing some nasty weather pushing on through. So let's go ahead and pop up mile marker 321.7. Right now, we'll go to the traffic system. You can definitely see what's going on over there right now. I mean, it's a nasty storm here. Definitely a nasty storm. We kind of look over there right now. You can see all that lightning. You're kind of getting a look inside that storm right now, in fact, as we kind of peer on outside at the weather situation. So again, 10:41 right now is that time. As we kind of take that view outside, you see how we were going down the road. That's a nasty, nasty trip home if you're having to head home in this. Not a great storm to be in on Interstate 95. So we have to continue to just keep everybody there. Really, just kind of make sure they get home safe here, keeping our thoughts and prayers in some regard, just because, I mean, this nasty weather that we're dealing with, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it can be deadly. I mean, honestly, on the roads here tonight with the slickness of things, definitely can have car accidents. Already seen some car accidents here as we were looking back at Hamilton County. There was an accident earlier on that we were tracking. So, again, you can definitely see the rain on the lens. I've been on for the better part of 9 hours now, tracking everything for you on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and Twitch. And this is that view outside right now toward Interstate 95 as we get in toward this area. So, again, it's very slow out there. You see the rain on the camera lens, and you see how things are going out there. It's not the greatest weather that we're dealing with right now, for sure, as we kind of peer on outside right now. Let me go ahead and move away, though, from this for the time being. Let me go ahead and come back onto the Doppler radar as we continue to watch things, continue to give you some different looks at things, checking some other cameras. It's definitely nasty out there. You can definitely see the nastiness of things. Telling that weather store. I'm going to go back down just a little to the south. Seeing more of the flashes on me even when I'm not on. But we'll go ahead and pop up that right now. That viewpoint. You can kind of get the idea of what's going on here with all those lightning flashes toward I-95 in St. Johns County right now. Definitely telling that weather story on this Friday night. I know we've been with you for a while. Hopefully we'll be able to wrap this up pretty soon. We want to let it get through St. Augustine anyway before we wrap up the covers tonight as we're looking towards St. Johns County. So you see that rain, you see that lightning. It's just treacherous out there. Some of that wind causing issues as well. So you just got to bear that all those hazards in mind, all these different hazards that we're dealing with. I think you just saw a strike. Well, I think I was riding away actually, but it was, I'll kind of step on over real quick. It was kind of, as you look toward really this part of the screen right here, that's where we were kind of dealing with that strike. But anyway, you might have been able to see it behind me there just a little bit, depending on exactly where it hit while I was on. But again, definitely seeing the nasty weather here. The road, you see maybe some ponding the water on the roadways as well as we kind of look on down here at the road right now, kind of trying to give you guys that perspective. So again, let me kind of show you. I mean, you can kind of see it sometimes when you look real close here at the road. So again, continuing to watch this here as we get down towards St. Johns County, the traffic backing on up for sure. So let me go ahead and move away from it. We're going to go back to the Doppler radar now, continue to see what is showing us here as we look. I know that other warning, probably going to see it go away soon, as I know I'm going between things. That's why it goes black sometimes here, but I know that other storm's kind of developed there in northern parts of Marion. You don't always see stuff to develop like that, but we're seeing that develop here this late at night as we again look at this axis and the worst of the wind potential. They're about to hit this sensor, so maybe we'll get an observation on that here in a moment to kind of tell us what type of wind we're dealing with here around Volano Beach, around St. Augustine. Hopefully we'll be able to wrap this up around 11 if that boat kind of gets off the coast and I feel a little more comfortable within the coverage here closer toward that top of the hour. That'd be good. But again, continuing to watch here, St. Augustine, nation's oldest city, getting into some of this tonight, going there right now, right around, it looks like a leading edge, getting right there toward U.S. Highway 1. So that kind of tells that story. The velocities don't look quite as high right now with the winds, and that's good. But the thing is, it's right near the coast, so make sure you don't get a quick spin up on us or something crazy like that. They're saying the most intense will be now through about 11 o'clock or so, is what they're saying here in the chat session. So again, that's when the worst will be moving through, and it'll be off the coast, obviously. Still marine hazard for folks, but that'll be something they'll have to watch, obviously. You don't be having no water in this. But the special marine warning is in play to cover that from the office there in Jacksonville, and there'll be more marine warnings to come, I'm sure, as we continue to watch how things do matriculate as they do evolve here across the area. Again, it seems like velocities aren't picking up as high anymore as this gets into a more populated area like Vilano Beach and St. Augustine. Obviously a good thing, but we still got to err on the side of caution for a little bit longer here with this, and just make sure things are still okay and toward this area as we get toward 95. So again, right now only all the other warnings, thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, kind of way up toward the north where we had the tornado watch threat in play up there, and then we had our tornado watch toward the Big Bend, but there's still a tornado watch until about midnight toward the Carolinas, Virginia, but those warnings have gone off the board here at this point. So let me go ahead and show you what we're talking about real quick on that system. Take you up there, you see the yellow area, but no longer seeing that, and then the watch went away here, but of course we're still getting some warnings. Still got this line of action to get through here. We still have some scattered action even out toward Bainbridge. Kind of interesting to see there in Decatur County, but continuing to watch some of our different things here within the maps. So again, the worst of the threat right now moving toward parts of areas in St. John's, and then you see storm there east of Williston and between Micanopy and right around McIntosh. They're getting some heavier rainfall right now in that area. So that'll be something to kind of be concerned with here, but not severe in nature at this time. So that's the good news, but you never know. It could still go severe here as we look ahead, maybe pushing on further down. But again, 10:47 right now, looking towards St. Augustine. Worst coming on in. It's going to be a couple minutes behind. So let's go over to view here. They're still continuing the warning back west to 11, but they trimmed that back some just to be on the safe side. They're keeping a little bit of that further off toward the west here for a little part of Clay, Putnam, and St. John's, but not as much as it would have been before here. As you see it trimmed back, not as much as I would have trimmed it back, though, to be quite honest. They're really erring on the side of caution with this trailing band here, with this wind energy, I suppose. But again, let me go ahead and check some different things here, some different metrics here in the Weather Center. See what power outage numbers we're getting into right now. Bradford Union, they're not too high, but there's a few here and there. So gonna keep on watching, keep on tracking. And since they're kind of leaving that trailing warning like that, they're gonna take another quick break here in the coverage, and I'll be back here in about 5 minutes or so. So stay with me. Gonna gather more details. The St. Augustine accident pushing on through right now, though, in St. Johns County. Some of the worst moving through around Vilano Beach and St. Augustine at this point. In toward that area. It doesn't look as intense as it was, but still gotta watch here. Still got some storminess, some wind enhancement around Bostwick, but doesn't look as bad as it was there either. As I know Jacksonville Roy's kind of dodged some action here tonight, it seems like. As they pop up some of the storm total rainfall amounts here, you can kind of see how things have kind of trailed off there, but push further off toward the east, down toward the Mason's Order City around St. Augustine. So we're going to keep you advised. Be back here in just a few moments with more information.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here about 10:54 on this Friday evening. It's still Friday. We've been with you for a long time with special coverage here throughout the day to keep you guys advised of the situation. I hope you found this coverage helpful to get you through what's going on here across our region today with a severe storm potential and maybe even some tornadoes. It looks like we had one in McCullough County, the debris signature, but not sure if there was any damage out there. It was a pretty open area there in terms of any population, it looks like. But some issues toward Taylor County. We had a tornado warning there and then some damage after the fact. Not sure if it was a straight line or if it was actually maybe rotational in nature. But again, we look towards St. Johns County now, toward the St. Augustine area. And we're seeing some of the worst of this move off. Lately, we haven't had too many reports in that gust there. Only 18. Of course, that was earlier on. But we'll be waiting for a new number here pretty soon. Hopefully, I would think it's a little higher than that, but you never know. We're probably going to be wrapping up pretty soon. There's a little wind enhancement near Hastings. They may keep this going. That would be pushing more down toward Crescent Beach, but it's not really impressive here. And based on the signatures we've had earlier on, we'll just continue to watch. I'm kind of going between some different levels if you see a pulse up there a little bit. But obviously, we'll keep our eyes on it. You could still get a little inflow on that, I suppose, a little bit of rotational spin. So we're going to stick with it at least for another few moments, at least about 11. But then another one morning actually goes to 11:15. But I might go ahead and wrap it up here soon because just not getting a lot of reports in. And the signatures aren't all that impressive on the Doppler radar. And we're kind of, over the next few minutes, it's still pretty nasty around St. Augustine right now. But some of that bigger wind threat probably more in this area further up toward the north. And that's starting to push off the coast here at this point. So that's definitely some good news here as we're continuing to track things. We're continuing to watch things. You see some colors here down toward the south that aren't as bright in nature, but you see a little bit more of that rotational potential maybe right there over State Road A1A right now in parts of St. Johns County. That's pushing off though. We have this area down the south still could be severe in nature, so we have to still watch it, obviously. But things overall here not quite as concerning as they've been here at times. And let's take a look at some of these instability values here. I know, and if you're wondering where you can get the radar when we're not on the air, go to cloudweather.com/radar. And for instant alerts, go to twitter.com/cloud_WX. Of course, we can always break back in if we need to on the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. But these instability values down here to the south still over 2,000, in some cases 2,500 joules per kilogram. I mean, look at all this energy out here, over 4,000. But to the north, not seeing as much. But even a storm there up toward Bainbridge, kind of interesting in nature to be out there like that. But overall, the threat will be kind of decreasing. But you still see some tornado parameters around in the overall pattern. Granted, the threat is marginal. It's low here at this point, but it's not zero, as we've seen with the warnings we've had. There's your tornado threat generally, but your hail, and then as I zoom out, and then your wind threat still kind of persistent across most of the area. It's marginal, but it's not zero here, as they've gone with a new update now, the Weather Service has. So let me go ahead and zoom back in a little bit. They're saying a significant weather advisory for parts of Flagler, Alachua, St. John's, Marion, and Putnam through 11:30. So maybe more down here is what they're tracking. But honestly, a lot of this is right now, and it may not be. It may be severe in nature as we look to the north, but a lot of the acts and just look more strong in nature at this point to me. So that's the good news. And I look at the radar scan to make sure as that area, that leading edge really has gone off the coast now. We'll continue to look down toward the south here. See a little bit of stuff down toward southern parts of St. Johns County here. Seeing some action down in that area. But again, getting close to 11 o'clock here. I mean, obviously, if there was a bigger threat, I would stay with this. But it's just a situation at this point. I feel like we can go and kind of wrap it up. Don't let your guard down on some of these spots here. Make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts here. Even really anywhere in our area, to be honest, just to be safe. I mean, the chance isn't overwhelming, but tornado chance if we had one involved might be more down toward Central Florida based on the modeling. But here as we look ahead, but still just stay weather aware. Things have been really unpredictable today. Things go up and down real quick in intensity, and you don't want to be caught off guard. There's your new advisory, by the way, if you're wondering. That does clip some of these areas further on off toward the east. So that's kind of the look at that. This latest advisory from the office there in Jacksonville is for 40-mile-an-hour winds and peace-size hail. So at least it's not gone up to 50 here at this point. It doesn't look all that impressive. And even up here, I mean, I'll check some of these pixels, but we're looking at 20, 30 miles an hour in here right now. and that's definitely some good news. Not seeing the numbers here get too close to severe, so we'll still have to be careful. There's still lightning, still heavy downpours, still can be car accidents here in this weather, and still can have some damage, but overall things look to be kind of relenting a little bit here at the present time, as we almost are at 11 o'clock now on this Friday. Continuing to watch things, still have that low end risk of severe weather, so don't let your guard down. This one yellow box here, it'll be going away as we kind of look there in just a second. I just kind of had to expire one of these for Clay Putnam and St. John's. We'll still have the other one here in play, but we'll kind of see what they do here in just a second with the latest update. I still kind of see some of that lingering near the coast and everything, but at least the other warning here will go off the board and we'll be down to 1 warning polygon, as you see right now. So still had that one there on St. Augustine. Granted, the threat's kind of pushed off to the east and to the north of the polygon, but to the south, we're still watching areas around Crescent City there, or I guess I should say Crescent Beach. I apologize, but it's been a long day. But again, not Crescent City, but you get the idea. We're continuing to watch this because Crescent Beach there, inward parts of this area. So again, Armstrong, you see a little bit of wind enhancement here, but I mean, we see a little bit of weak rotation, I suppose, on here, but we'll be ready if we get some type of tornado warning real quick at the coast, but I doubt we'll get that. We have had it happen before, so just be careful there. Crescent Beach down in Marineland could get something that's been up. You did get us to 35, by the way, at the airport, but that's kind of indicative of our thinking here. Things don't look as bad as they could be, so we'll be back here if needed, but otherwise, I hope you guys have a great Mother's Day weekend out there. A great Mother's Day weekend, at least. I know we still have some accident lingering, but the things are kind of pushing on through here. We still have to just stay weather aware, obviously, here tonight. But tomorrow, Sunday, look pretty good in terms of those rain chances. And we'll be watching next week. Maybe some more interesting weather in terms of some tropical weather, even maybe coming back our way. So we'll be keeping you guys abreast of all that. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. If we need to be back on the air, of course, we will to give you guys the latest. But for now, just thanks so much for tuning in and have a great night out there. Stay safe and stay dry out there from these storms around.